What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dawson from D&D TV and Dawson Speak. I want to thank everybody for rating, commenting, and subscribing. And y'all hit that bell right there so y'all can get the notifications when my videos come up. And definitely subscribe. And for everybody who's commented, y'all know I always try to get back to y'all on the comments. And I'm definitely going to keep doing videos like this because videos like this are, it means a lot to me to do things on this because I consider myself, a conscious social worker, and I'm all about humanity and helping humanity and for us to be free mentally, physically, emotionally, and definitely financially. And that starts with exposing people who want to manipulate people, keep people enslaved, and have control over people like this pastor here. Pastor Eric Readon of Miami Gardens at New Beginnings Church here in Miami Gardens has been in the media time and time again. When there's a shooting, when there's a hit and run, when there's any type of tragedy, he comes and he preaches to people to do the right thing. Well, South Florida, the news media, and the people mistreated and abused by this pastor are asking him to do the right thing. I'm going to let y'all watch these videos and I will be back at the end with my commentary.
Pastor, who usually loves being in the spotlight, is now running from Local 10 news cameras.
And tonight, some are questioning his actions and business practices, claiming Pastor Eric Readon owes them thousands.
Everyone who talked to Local 10 News claims they trusted the pastor to do the right thing. But in many cases, that didn't happen until we started asking questions.
Here's Local 10 investigator Jeff Weinseer with his report.
Enough is enough. There's been too much violence with this.
A shooting, a hit and run. If there's a tragedy, Pastor Eric Readon usually shows up.
And they need to be brought to justice.
Stands in front of the TV cameras and then preaches for those to do the right thing.
If somebody saw something, say something, you have to own up and take responsibility. It's a shame. Shame on you.
But some say this pastor isn't practicing what he preaches.
I see him on the news and I shut the news off.
The man who loves the camera.
You were supposed to call me yesterday. Talk to us, Pastor.
Won't answer our questions.
So how much does he have of yours? $2,500.
All I want is my money back.
You owe me $4,000.
Pastor Eric Readon owes me $3,000.
Readon is the pastor of New Beginnings Missionary Baptist Church in Miami Gardens. But along with his sermons posted online are videos of the houses Readon apparently owns and rents out.
Finish another project over here at duplexes now. They're almost finished. Right now I got about 6 projects going up right now.
Last October, Lakeisha Veal, a school bus driver, a mother of 5, saw pictures of this house owned by Readon's wife online.
October 25th.
She handed Pastor Readon a total of $2,500 as a deposit to rent the place.
He told me his tenants is moving out at the end of the month. The place to be ready within 2 weeks.
Veal says it never happened. She says 2 months went by and Readon kept stalling. You eventually went to the house and knocked on the door and said, "Are you moving out?"
Yes.
What did the people say?
No, they're not moving out, and they know what I was talking about.
5 months after handing over her hard-earned cash, Readon was giving her the runaround about returning the deposit. She claims he threatened her.
He's going to come after me and my job. And I hung up.
In November, Corrections Officer Thomas Harper gave Readon $2,500 as a deposit after seeing video of a house online. Harper says it was the very same story. He too never got to move in because someone else was living there.
He said, give me some time. Have mercy on me. Give me some time.
He says he got the runaround for 5 months trying to get his deposit back.
You supposed to be a pastor. You're supposed to be standing up and doing the right thing.
Harper says Readon texted him this picture of bundles of cash as if to taunt him.
Trust me, my church ain't going, my members ain't going to believe that, and they love me. They love me.
Since we did those interviews, both Veal and Harper did get their money back only after we started asking Pastor Readon questions. Both say they were told they had to sign a confidentiality agreement and not talk about the situation.
He needs to stop.
But Lakeisha Blue is still waiting for the money she says Readon owes her. She claims she gave him money orders totaling $3,000 as a down payment for a Mercedes-Benz he was selling. Readon has her money. She says she never got the car. And when she pressed him for that deposit back,
And he started calling me with threatening messages and telling me he's untouchable, he's invincible. You think you can come after me? You don't know who you're dealing with.
Derek Andrews says he loaned the pastor $4,000 to pay for rappers to come to Miami Gardens for an event. Andrews showed us texts he got from Readon wanting more time to pay him back, but it never happened.
He say he can't be touched. He say he's lawyered up and he's ready for anything. He's using the pulpit to rob people.
Talk to us, Pastor.
Readon promised to sit down and talk to us about his dealings several times, but never did. Those who have done business and worked with this pastor say this.
I'm trying to let everyone know that this is one that's not to be trusted.
I want them to know that Eric Readon is not the preacher you think he is.
God said, I'm going to use this.
Jeff Weinseer, Local 10 News.
Our Jeff Wines here on the case after a month of trying to talk with Eric Readon about these issues. His attorney now claims they will sit down and answer questions next Tuesday. We'll, of course, keep you posted.
A 70-year-old man's dreams shattered.
He didn't keep his word on anything.
Tonight, new allegations, new lawsuits against a South Florida pastor we exposed last month.
Talk to us, Pastor.
You need to be aware that this man is a cheater. He's all out for himself.
Part 2 of a Local 10 News investigation revealing more unholy acts.
An elderly man, retired, claims a South Florida pastor has taken him for more than $500,000 and tricked him into signing over his dream house.
Edward Fuller is the name. He's one of several people who contacted Local 10 News after our first investigation into the business practices of Miami Gardens pastor Eric Readon.
As we first reported last month, alleged victims claimed they loaned Readon money, handed over cash to rent homes, and gave him a deposit to buy his car.
All claimed they got nothing. Tonight, Local 10 investigator Jeff Weinseer is back on this case, still trying to get answers.
These are the electrical plans here. These are the permits. That's a picture of the backside of the house.
70-year-old Edward Fuller has the plans, the permits, the pictures.
I can walk through this house blindfolded and tell you exactly where everything is.
But he doesn't have his dream house. Fuller claims he was blindsided by this man, Pastor Eric Readon.
He sold my house.
He sold it.
He sold the house.
For how much?
February 13th. He sold the house for $380,000.
And how much did you get out of that?
I got not one red cent.
Fuller bought this piece of property 30 years ago and had a plan. After a 35-year career at the U.S. Post Office, his retirement project was to build his dream house for his family.
It was like my gift to my daughters once I was going on. It's just that simple.
After retirement, the walls, the roof went up. Fuller admits he ran out of money to finish. And that is when he claims one day Pastor Eric Readon just pulled up. Never met him before.
Never met him before, never seen him before. And somehow he got the information that I was having a problem getting it completed.
Fuller claims Readon took him to a hard money lender for a loan.
I trusted him. I trusted him at that point.
Take a look at records. Project Youth Outreach Unlimited, a not-for-profit corporation, was made the contractor on a $125,000 construction loan. Pastor Eric Readon is the president of that not-for-profit. Oh, and there was a catch to get the loan.
In order to get the loan,
that's right,
you had to sign 50% of your property over to him.
That's correct.
Since conventional lenders had turned Fuller down, he agreed, and work on the house did begin. But the money ran out. The house was still not finished. Fuller claims in order to get more funds using his good credit, the pastor persuaded him to sign over the other 50% of the house so Fuller's credit would be free and clear. And that meant Project Youth Unlimited and Eric Readon now owned the entire house.
I promise you, man, you're going to get your house back. This is what he told me. You're going to get your house back.
But it never happened. In fact, Fuller says he only learned Readon sold the house out from under him for $380,000 when he did a property record search.
I said, Eric, you sold my house. He said, I got my own personal money tied up in this house. And he said, I can't lose my money.
Hey, talk to us, Pastor.
Eric Readon has canceled plans to talk to us on camera more than once, and as we reported first last month, others have told Local 10 News they gave Readon cash deposits to rent homes, buy cars. They've loaned him cash, and when things fell through and they demanded refunds, Readon calls up and says,
"You think you can come after me? You don't know who you're dealing with."
He's gonna come after me and my job.
He say he can't be touched.
the legal troubles against this pastor are mounting. According to these court records, Black Rain Capital has filed suit against Pastor Readon and his church for fraud, negligence, and civil theft. Black Rain says they fronted Readon money to buy houses and trusted him because he was, quote, a man of God. An attorney for Black Rain says Readon never repaid or split proceeds from the sale of properties. Court records also show Pastor Readon was ordered to take an anger management class after sending harassing emails, including a picture of a dead body to an attorney in a custody issue case involving his son. All this coming from a pastor, a man who constantly shows up at tragic events around South Florida to preach to others, to do the right thing.
If somebody saw something, to say something, and they need to be brought to justice.
You need to be aware that this man is a cheater. He's all out for himself.
Pastor Readon has called the Local 10 newsroom and my personal cell phone several times. In one of those conversations, he acted as though he was my best friend, said we should work together to, quote, fry bigger fish. We declined that opportunity, but we'd certainly like to sit down and interview him one-on-one about his business practices. That invitation still stands. In the newsroom, Jeff Weintz here, Local 10 News.
Jeff, thanks a lot. Ed Fuller says he did take his case to the Miami-Dade Police Department, but was told because he willfully signed papers and was not forced to, it was a civil matter. He has yet to find an attorney to take his case. And we do want to point out here that some people who were featured in our first story did get refunds as we started asking questions.
Now, you all heard what the news anchors said. Be it a shooting, a hit and run, or any tragedy, Pastor Eric Readon usually shows up, stands in front of the TV cameras because, trust me, I've seen him on TV. He loves the cameras, and then preaches about those involved to do the right thing. But some say that the pastor isn't practicing what he preaches. And based on the video evidence that you all just saw from some of his congregation and people that he has, had bad business dealings with, you can see why. And what on my videos, I bring out this stuff. I kind of like put this stuff out here for dialogue. And so people can't say that, oh, I didn't know, I was blind to the fact. And, on my videos in the comment sections, when I do these, people are always saying, oh, thank you for exposing, you're a preacher, you're all this. I appreciate all that, whatever. But I'm cool with being me. I don't believe in all those titles and stuff to make you great. And if y'all really, believe in the Bible, then God say, I'll make your name great. You don't need the title because people got titles and they ain't doing none with the title. But if you do the work, people will call you the title. But that's just true. But with this pastor here, this is a pastor who is down in South Florida area. And you all know that I am from the South Florida area. He is in Miami-Dade in the Miami Gardens area. This church was actually after his father, who was the Reverend I.H. Readon, passed away. I think it was in 2012, 2013. This church was passed over to Eric Readon, which is why I always say, just because you are a pastor or so you are a person in business, it does not mean you need that your successor needs to be your relative. I know some people like to keep it in the family and everything, but sometimes we turn over our legacy, and in this case, our legacy and a church to someone who is basically going to ruin his father's legacy. Because this is not the only time, y'all. And I just found this out while I was doing these videos, and this is actually part 2. This is not the only thing this pastor has been involved in. There is another video that I'm going to do that is going to be part 1 that this pastor was involved in that caused almost the death of an officer because this pastor and his wife had some type of dealings with an exotic car company that I'm going to talk about in that video. But sticking with this video, We saw how this pastor manipulated those people in the first video, getting money for a rapper to come in. And that rapper that he wanted to come in was Birdman. He needed a couple $1,000s for Birdman to come in. Then he gets on Facebook Live and he's, doing a live streaming of his houses that he has, because he has different houses that he rents out to the community. These people want houses who are in his congregation in a nice area in Miami Gardens, so they confide in the only man they know, which is their pastor, to only find out that their pastor is a manipulator, a cheater, and somebody who's basically going to take their money and use it for other things and not really care about his sheep. And one thing I've always told you all is that just because a person is charismatic, just because a person is speaking in tongue, just because a person is falling all over the pulpit and all over the stage and running around and saying no more sheets, does not mean that they are of God. And does not mean that they have your best interest in mind. And I know I said no more sheets because I'm definitely going to get into that in one of these videos when I talk about all these prophetess and prophets who come and they speak lies and they pray and they manipulate the people. Not only people in church, but also people in politics, people who are in local community auxiliaries, who come in and they use their position to prey on the people, to use the people. And for them, it's not about helping humanity. For them, it's about social gain. Let me get up here and rub elbows with, so-called the people who have made it. The makers and shakers. Let me get money from the poor, get money from these hardworking people and use it for my own financial gain or my material gain, because I want to be someone because I don't feel I'm no one. And that's all out of pure ego. That has nothing to do with the spirit of love, a spirit of charity, which is love. It has nothing to do with the spirit of God. And these pastors, and it's funny to me because this pastor here has a background of being arrested because he was a drug dealer back in the day. And then he started, getting into the church and helping his father. And when his father passed away, the church was passed down to him. Now, I wonder, Pastor Eric Readon, how did you get deliverance or anything? How people say from that spirit of manipulation that most drug dealers have? Because obviously it don't seem like you did, because all of these videos, and there are more that are on this news channel that I'm going to put in the bottom of description, it shows this pastor in these illegal dealings. He is all about money, all about greed, all about himself and his upcoming financially, and not about the people. And my question for Pastor Eric Readon, I ain't even gonna call you a pastor. I don't even think you deserve that, man. How can you sleep at night knowing that every time there is a tragedy in Miami, and we know a tragedy in Fort Lauderdale, that you are always on the scene in front of the news cameras up until now, because they got you now, buddy. These news people, they know your game now. Because if you go back in the archives, and I'm going to put that link below of the news, local ABC Channel 10 news media, they have several different times where Eric Readon's name has been mentioned. Whenever there's a shooting, whenever there's a hit and run, he invites the cameras in his church. Whenever there's something going on, he invites the cameras to come to his community. Whenever there's something going on, he wanted Birdman to come. He invited the news people. To me, Eric Readon, you're trying to compete in Miami-Dade with these big mega church pastors who are not doing this stupid stuff that you're doing. Because the church I attended down here a long time ago, it was a mega church. And trust me, buddy, he didn't do none of this stuff that you did. The people came to him. Celebrities came to that church. He didn't go seeking the news camera. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest, largest black mega churches down here, that was my pastor. He avoided the news cameras. And see, it's sad because you know that if you get on television and people see you, then they're going to come to your church and they're going to believe in you. Oh, he cares about the community. He was there when little Shoo got shot. He was there when my uncle got stabbed. He was there when my cousin got hit by a car. But he is also the same man who is stealing money from the congregation. He's also the same man who manipulated this elderly 70-year-old man who wanted to build this house for his daughters. You manipulated that man out of his money and sold his home without him even having any knowledge. And how can you sleep at night, man, knowing that you did that? This is what I'm talking about. These sociopaths who call themselves leaders in churches, in businesses, community leaders, people who are not for you. They are only for what they can get. And to make it so bad, because I'm going to do that. Like I say, I got another video on this dude. His wife is in this mess with him. And as a woman, how could you sit there and know it's a house that you want to sell to somebody, and then you swindle this lady and she goes and knocks on the door thinking that, you know, the house is empty, no one's there, and people are telling them, oh, well, we're not moving anywhere. What are you talking about? We're not going anywhere. But you took $2,500 from that lady. You took that deposit from her. And these people are not on the news, in front of the news cameras lying on this man. As I was doing my research on this, and y'all got his name, y'all do your research too. There was multiple things that were coming up on this man, his illegal activities, his bad business dealings, how he was swindling money from the people, how he was getting over on people in order for his own financial gain. And you don't want us to talk about it? You want us to just sit back and pray? Oh, pray. Well, here's the thing for y'all. Y'all go pray. The people who are woke and the people who are conscious, we gonna talk about it. Okay? And I don't want to hear that, oh, well, touch not my anointing. I'm not touching, I'm talking. We're analyzing, and you come to your own conclusion. And my conclusion is that people like this need to be exposed, and we need to know who they are. Because I don't need my mama, my grandma, my daddy, my uncle, them, or my cousins, or nobody I know in a church like this with a manipulating pastor who is only in it for mind control, who's only in it for financial gain, who's only in it for himself, and it has nothing to do with God. Now, I got another video coming on this, man. Y'all leave me y'all comments about what y'all think about this. And y'all, look, it's time for us to stand up and to do what we have to do. Get out of these dead churches. That's what we got to do.